this week in writing so far, we have been looking at the explanation text all about paint. Let's remind ourselves an explanation text is a non-fiction text that describes the process or reasons about why something happens. Okay, so far we've looked at the features of an explanation text, all of those ingredients that go into an explanation text to make it successful. Okay, and to really inform the reader. We've story mapped the introduction with symbols and pictures. Okay, and you have created your own box-up plan for the text. So yesterday you selected the key information from the text and you summarised it to pick out the most important things, and then you summarised it in your own words. So today we are going to be learning to write an introduction. You are going to write your own introduction to an explanation text. Okay, so what we need to do firstly is you are in control of choosing a topic that you would like to write about. So think now in your head, you might want to pause the video, of what could you write an explanation text about? Okay, what function could you describe? What could you write about? So let's remind ourselves. So an explanation text explains the process or function of something. It's written in an order and it can include illustrations and diagrams. So think carefully, what would you like to write about in your explanation writing? Let's have a look at some ideas that you might want to use, okay? But I'm more than happy for you to think of your own subject to write about. So you could write a text about, how does a spider spin a web? How does a clock work? Why do things float or sink? Why do living things need food? How the water cycle works? Why do we have seasons? How volcanoes erupt? What causes a tsunami? So those are things that you could write about today. Okay, now you will need to do, if you're going to choose one of these things, you might need to do some research of your own on the internet to find out a little bit more, okay, so that you can really explain in as much detail the topic and the subject. Okay, so spend some time thinking about what would you like to explain and what would you like to write about today. What do you feel like you could explain the function of something? So once you've decided about what you would like to write about, okay, we're going to remind ourselves of what makes a successful introduction, okay, because today you are only writing the introduction part of the text, okay, so it's just the beginning part. So to write a successful introduction, the first thing you need to do is introduce the topic or subject. So you need to tell the reader what you're going to write about. Okay, you can introduce some key vocabulary. Okay, so you can words that will come up in the text that are about the topic. Okay, you might want to explain the purpose of writing the text. So why the reader might want to read on, what the purpose is. Just like in All About Paint, the purpose is explaining the functions of paint and how it can protect things. Okay. Your introduction is the first few sentences of a piece of writing. It should really capture the reader's attention and make them want to read on. Okay, it should make them think, oh, I want to find out more about this. Okay, it can also include conjunctions, okay, to add more information and detail to your sentence. So conjunctions like because, so, therefore, this causes. Okay, they should come up in your text and maybe give more details to your sentences. So, now we've looked at what makes a successful introduction, let's look at the introduction from All About Paints. Okay, we've read this many times, but in this introduction, the thing that makes it successful is that the topic is introduced. We know in these first few sentences, the text is going to be all about paint, okay? Because it's certainly true that paint has the power to change things. We know that in this text, it's going to explain to us how paint can change different things. Okay, it introduces keywords such as the vocabulary alchemy. Okay, we know that's a key word and that's introduced in the introduction. There's also some conjunctions used in here. Okay, and we've also got some brackets to add in some extra information that makes it successful. But some of the sentence starters used as well want make the reader want to read on. So, but have you ever stopped to think what paint is or how it works, what chemicals it contains and what they actually do? So there we have a question. Okay, so it's questioning the reader and asking them, do they know this information? If they don't, then they need to read on. And it's also got the sentence, let's take a closer look. Okay, so that's what makes that introduction successful. Now let's look at your task today. So your task is to write an introduction paragraph. You can choose the subject or topic that you are writing about, but it has to explain the function of something. So remember those ideas? It could be, one idea, it could be, how do flowering plants grow? Now the introduction is the beginning part of the text. Okay, it's the first thing that people will read. It only needs to be short and sweet. Okay, so just a few sentences. So let's read this introduction here, the beginning part of the explanation text, about how do flowering plants grow. Have you ever wondered how plants grow? Then read on. This fascinating leaflet will explain how the plant life cycle works. Plants begin life as a seed. If the seed has water and warmth, it germinates, starts to grow. First, a root appears, which grows down into the soil. After that, a pale leafless shoot pushes up towards the light. Okay, so in these first few sentences there, we've explained that the text is going to tell us all about how plants grow. Okay, it's introduced already some key words from the text. Okay, so we just go through with a highlighter and see what types of words make this successful. So it starts with, have you ever wondered how plants grow? So that's a sentence starter there, and we've given a question to the reader. Okay, then, so words like then, first and after that are all time connectives. Now it's really important an explanation text needs to be in an order. Okay, it's also introduced some key words like life cycle, okay, and seed as well, and germinate. So let's introduce those key words, and it's all in the same tense. Okay, so we know that the tense is all correct. It's in the present tense. Okay, because remember it's happening now. So that is a really successful introduction. You might even want to magpie or use some of these sentence starters like, have you ever wondered? This fascinating text will tell you. Okay, and then it starts off with the first thing that happens. It puts it in order. They begin life as a seed. Okay, and then here we have a subordinating clause in our sentence. If the seed has water and warmth, it germinates. So it germinates is the main clause. If the seed has water and warmth is a subordinating clause. Okay, so that's a really successful introduction of, it's got time connectives in it. Okay, it has lots of information and it makes somebody want to read on. In those first few sentences, we know the purpose. So, here are some sentence starters that you might want to just magpie and put straight into your writing that you could use. Okay, so you could use, but have you ever stopped to think how? Let's take a closer look, and that will make the reader want to read on. Did you know? Do you want to find out more about? Or you could use, I'm going to magpie the text that we just looked at. Have you ever wondered? Wondered. Okay. So that is what some sentences. You have 5 sentence starters that you could use straight into your writing. Okay. Let's look at our success criteria. So if you want to choose a mile challenge, what you need to do for your introduction to be successful is think about a topic that you would like to explain the function of. So you're going to think about something you want to write about. Once you've done that, you can write a title. So it could be all about the water cycle, okay? Or how the water cycle works, or why the water cycle is important. Number 2, you can write the introduction paragraph. For mild, think about 2 to 3 sentences to introduce the topic, okay? If you want to challenge yourself with spicy today, okay, you need to think of a topic you want to write about, write the title. You could use these titles as an example, how something works, why this happens. Then you need to write your introduction paragraph to introduce the topic you are explaining. Okay, to stretch yourself, try and use about 3 to 4 sentences to introduce the topic. Okay, so today your task is to think of a topic you would like to explain, think of a title, and then write 2 to 3 sentences to introduce your subject. Okay, good luck. Let me know if you need any help.